as you meditate, as you do consciousness work, you will have some awakenings, you'll have some shifts. And one of the shifts I've had, man, is that I've realized that what intelligence actually is consciousness. And at first, man, this isn't all that important. You don't really care about this. But then as you mature, you start to become fascinated with different facets of consciousness work. You start to become fascinated with intelligence itself, or different minds, or the quality of your mind. Your mind, as you raise your consciousness, literally becomes more interconnected. You start to appreciate higher things because your mind is of a higher state. It's of a higher consciousness. All of this is only possible because of increases and shifts in consciousness. It's also, man, not just to do with consciousness work, but I notice as I get older, I was going to say brain. You're never going to catch me say brain, dude. I'll tell you why. If you say brain, there's a subtle implication there of the materialist paradigm that you don't have a brain, okay? But what you do have is a mind. This is a better word. It's a more elegant word. It's a more intelligent word. And this mind, I notice at least, man, my mind, it just seems to expand. It seems to mature, whether I like it or not. And it's the same for you, man. Just as you get older, your mind will change. It's a function of age, but it's increased when you do consciousness work because you're more sensitive to your experience of reality changing in cool and creative ways. Even little things like how you interpret someone's words. You're listening to someone, and where you interpret words from is like, whoa, I love how my mind is interpreting what you're saying. I love how I'm able to visualize, or how I'm able to be so intuitive. If spiritual work is all about falling in love with reality, and reality is your mind and experience, you fall in love with your own mind and your own experience in the way that you cognize, in the way that you understand reality. This is a joy, man. It's a higher joy, a higher pleasure. This is what you want to start, caring about. And really, man, you don't want to force it. You can't force it. I didn't come to this point until life gave it to me, man. I always like to say it with my brother. Life will give you things. Until something is true for you in your experience, you just don't really care about it, do you, man? I mean, I certainly don't. Even little things like me and my brother were speaking about, like, I don't know, man, I want to do more stretching, right? And I don't do too much stretching. But I know that that's where I'm at. So I don't try to change where I'm at. But then in a couple of months or years, I will be more down to do some stretching. Maybe you'll see me just fucking stretching in the street. I say that especially because if you are in a place where this sounds like just alien, which, by the way, being alien is amazing. We'll come to that in a minute. If it sounds really foreign and really lofty and really like, dude, that's high consciousness, but I'm not that. I don't get it. Listen, man, that's totally cool. You got to trust that your mind opens up and your consciousness expands as you invest into yourself. Specifically, as you invest into your own consciousness. Now, coming back to the alien thing, dude. That's the goal, okay? The goal is to become an alien with your intelligence. Now, the truth is, man, you're a human. I'm a human. We can't do that unless we have some assistance. It's very wise to not expect alien consciousness or alien levels of intelligence when you are a sober human. It won't happen. And really, it's a distraction from a lot of important stuff that we got to do. This work, man, the scope of this work is enormous. And that's kind of why I'm telling you this, man, because it'll open something up for you. You're like, oh man, I guess I'll notice my intelligence increase over these next few years. I guess that I can notice that as I meditate, the feel of my mind will be different. And I can start to fall in love with that. And that can actually be what I enjoy more than, say, an old habit that you were feeding, but then you're like, actually, I want to fall in love and I want to like more conscious stuff. That's where you pivot and you just start feeding the more conscious things. You meditate instead of scrolling. You sit in silence instead of scrolling. You take part in a spiritual ceremony and get your ass kicked, or you face yourself in the mirror. You start to like these things more because you appreciate the reward that you get. You appreciate the higher reward. Really, man, if you've been following this channel, you know that we've been going from lower reward to higher reward. PMO and sex and food and just easy pleasures to more subtle rewards, more higher rewards, more, conscious things. This is what we want to ground our life in, man. If you can ground your life in the love for consciousness work, you'll just do things differently. So give it to yourself as much as you possibly can, because then you will see. Now, there's one more thing I want to add here, which is the real reason why you become more intelligent as you do consciousness work is because you are closer to the source of intelligence itself. And that is infinity. This is a bit of a tricky one, man, because when I first heard this, when I first heard infinity and or infinite intelligence, genuinely, I didn't get it enough. I was actually skeptical. I was genuine, I'm not a very skeptical guy when it comes to spirituality because I'm very intuitive, so I can tell if something is true. But I just couldn't quite get it. I couldn't grasp it. Infinite intelligence. And there's a reason I couldn't get it. It's because you can't get it with your mind at a human level of consciousness. It's just a concept. You need to do something a little bit different. You need to take some risks. You need to maybe use certain things to enhance your consciousness, to be able to even feel what infinity is. Really, if you want to experience infinity, you need to invest in creating an experience of altered consciousness. So, yeah, you're going to need to use a consciousness raising tool. You know what that is, but I'm not going to make it explicit because honestly, man, I don't like to caveat endlessly. And I know that I would have to if I talk about that a lot. But think about what I'm trying to say there. That. But the thing is, man, it's very, very challenging to break through into infinity. I mean, even if you're trying and you've got the right assistance, dude, it's difficult. You need serious concentration. Oh my God. Yeah, most people will never experience infinity, and that's okay. It's not something that you want to be able to relate to people with. Infinity is kind of like, how do I describe this, man? Infinity is the kind of thing that when you experience it, you're like, it kind of shakes you up a little bit. It kind of freaks you out. It's like, oh shit, I went there. It's almost like you go too far, Like, now, me personally, man, it's so weird and so twisted, but I actually kind of like being freaked out by the universe. I mean, it's probably kind of obvious. If you're into this work, if you're into consciousness work, man, you don't mind seeing behind the curtain and being like, holy motherfucker, it will satisfy some part of you because you will experience the truth. And that will do something for you. From this place, am I able to appreciate this kind of thing? From this place, has any of this become real? Before I did this stuff, before I took meditation quite seriously, I didn't care about, nor was I aware of, the different experiences within consciousness, the different experiences of intelligence. So this is more advanced, and you never really need to care about this stuff. Unless, of course, you do already, and you are curious. You can tell that the investment in your consciousness is worth it. Because you know that all you have of life is your direct experience. And you want to make that as cool as possible. In a stable, responsible, grounded way. Where you can, not always, but sometimes experience a beautiful, conscious experience of life. So just keep that in mind. But really, what you want to be doing is focusing on meditating, ideally for more than 1 hour per day. Or just 1 hour per day. That is a fantastic place to start. And you will start to get flickers of this. And yeah, your consciousness will slowly shift. Okay, my friend, we're going to wrap things up there. Take care. Lots of love, dude. And as always, peace.